than, for instance, the one behind him, John Morgan's big Desert Dynamics. Big two-seater, the size of that thing. But John, a very impressive peddler, new to the sport last season, and already has shown that he is no mug. Really gets that thing working, but well, it's going to be awfully tricky out there. And waiting for the start, he's going to nail it. And away they go. Not so good for Hilliam. Sean Russell and Mike Fraser side by side. Steve Stokes looks way up the inside of Tony McCall. A little bit of contact there. Oh, Tony McCall getting muscled. He won't like that. Tony McCall getting smoked as John Morgan around the outside. Tony McCall, well, he's off the pace, but out front, it's Mike Fraser. With Sean Russell not far away back there in second spot. Go back to 111, Steve Stokes. Further back to 150, John Morgan. Then it's 109, Alan Hilliam. He's got past McCall. And then go back to 131, Alan Scott. With Mike Fraser starting to get away from Sean Russell. Steve Stokes closing in on Sean for that second spot. Tony McCall now on the attack. He's got past Alan Hilliam up into fifth spot. And Mike Fraser's a long way down the road. Sean Russell up into the tyres. Oh, Sean, you pillock. Sean Russell gets the sword wrong. That's allowed Steve Stokes to move on to the second place. John Morgan in third. Tony McCall now starting to get right in amongst it. Sean Russell down off the tyres as Alan Hillian comes through. And it's 151. Sean Russell gets away in front of 131. Alan Scott. But at the moment, it's all Mike Fraser and 180 in the motor muck entry. Tony McCall, well, he's just not coming to grips with these very tricksy conditions. Back in fourth place. And Steve Stokes now comes under a bit of pressure from John Morgan. Tony McCall is not at his usual right out front pace. He's looking down in the cockpit. I think he's got an issue somewhere down in there. So Tony McCall looks like he's got a problem. And Mike Fraser, oh, he's driving beautifully. The guy's an absolute lunatic. He's got two speeds, parked and flat out. John Morgan starting to put real pressure on Steve Stokes, but Steve looks fairly comfortable there in second spot. Steve Stokes, another fine driver, come out of Class 3, very successful in Class 3, moved up into Class 1, and he seems to come to grips with forward too. In the blue, looks quite nice. Tony McCall, all the way back in fourth spot. Sean Russell. And Alan Hilliam, another one's turned it around. This is tricksy out there. So he's dropped a place to the back of the field behind 131, Alan Scott. SU10 dummy grid, SU10 dummy grid. Alan Hilliam, well, he's really struggling. I thought he would have done better in these conditions, but it's certainly tricksy out there. But not for Mike Fraser. He is boogieing. There's the race totally under control. Nice, he chucks it into the sweeper at the end of the front straight. Still Steve Stokes holding off John Morgan. John not able to make any impression over the previous lap. That order looks to have settled down. Steve Stokes in second place, 111, 150 John Morgan, then 157 Tony McCall. Tony making no impression on this race at all. Sean Russell, Sean's already made an impression on it with a whoopsie just there. That thing sounds so angry. Alan Hilliam 109, he's been lapped by Mike Fraser. The next one through be 131, Alan Scott. But Mike Fraser, he is smoking. 1 lap to go. Beautifully prepped car, the Motor Muck car. Mike Fraser, he's a pretty good peddler. He's absolutely fast everywhere he goes. Alan Hilliam getting lapped now by Steve Stokes. Steve's pulling away from 150 John Morgan. Alan Hilliam doesn't look particularly happy out there. Comes to a stop on the start-finish grid. Tony McCall. Tony trying to close that gap on Morgan. But on the last lap, Tony will have to settle for a 4th spot. Alan Hilliam slowly moving away. 151, Sean Russell. But looking at Mike Fraser doing this one easy. He's been under no pressure from the get-go. Made his break very early on that opening lap, and nobody's got anywhere near him. So great drive coming there from 180, Mike Fraser. Crossing the line now, but a lap down, 131, Alan Scott. Coming through to take 2nd place, 111, Steve Stokes. Good drive from Steve.